Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to show you how to submit a Form 706ME. This is not a logged in activity, so we'll begin on the main tax portal homepage and navigate to the Estates panel. Then we'll click the hyperlink for submitting Form 706ME. The first page is general information on what you will need to complete this form. We have all our information at the ready, so we will click Next to proceed. Next up is the decedent information. You'll be asked to enter the decedent's Social Security number and date of death. Please note when we use the term decedent, we are referring to the person who has passed away, for whom you are filling out the estate tax return. Next is the decedent's marital status. And if you select married with surviving spouse, you will be asked to provide the spouse's Social Security number. Next, you'll be asked to provide the first and last name of the decedent and their residency status. And next, their domicile at the date of death. As always, addresses are required to be verified through the U.S. Postal Service. So you'll click on the red hyperlink to verify the address. And once you've filled out everything on this page, you may click Next to proceed. Next is the personal representative's information. You'll be asked to select an ID type, an FEIN or Federal Employer ID number, or an SSN or Social Security number. In this case, we've selected Social Security number, so we'll be asked to fill in the appropriate ID. And then we'll be asked for the first and last name of the PR. Had we selected the Federal Employer ID number instead, we'd be asked to fill out the firm name. Next is the contact methods. And as indicated by the red asterisk, we are required to fill out a phone number and an email address. And then the personal representative's mailing address. And like with the decedent's domicile, we are required to verify this through the United States Postal Service by clicking the red hyperlink. And once we've done so, we'll click Next to proceed. Next, we're asked if we have an authorized representative. If you do not, you would just select No and click Next to proceed. For the purpose of today's demonstration, we're going to say yes and click Next to proceed. Because we selected yes, we're asked to fill out the information for the authorized representative, including their firm name and the contact person's first and last name. And as always, any fields that are required are indicated by a red asterisk. We'll then fill out their phone number and their contact email address. Next, we're asked to enter the mailing address for our authorized representative. So we'll enter that now. And as always, this address also must be verified through the United States Postal Service by clicking the red hyperlink. And once you've done so, you may click Next to proceed. Next, we're brought to the Certificate of Discharge of Estate Tax Lien page. Here we are asked two required yes or no questions. The first is asking if we are requesting a lien release on real property within Maine that was owned by the decedent. And the second is asking if we are requesting a lien release on tangible personal property within Maine that was owned by the decedent. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to say yes to both. You would say yes or no as applicable to you and your situation. When you filled those out, you may click Next to proceed. Because we said yes to both questions, we're asked who the signed certificates of estate tax lien discharge forms should be returned to. You're given three options. You can only select one. You can opt to have the certificates sent to the personal representative. You can see the information has auto-populated based on what we entered earlier in the return. Next is the option to send it to the authorized representative. Their information also auto-populates. Or you can opt to send it to someone else. And if you select this option, the fields become editable and you can key in the someone else's address. For today, we're going to opt to send it to the personal representative. We'll verify that their information is correct and click Next to proceed. Next, we are asked to enter the real property address for each of the properties for which we are requesting the certificate. So we'll click the Add Property hyperlink, fill out the location of property information, and then the deed information, including the deed date, the registry of deeds, and the book and page number. When you filled out all this information, you may click Add and repeat this process for each property for which you are requesting the certificate. Because we just have this one, we're going to click Next to proceed. Next, we're asked to enter the information for each tangible personal property. So we'll again click the Add Property hyperlink and fill out the property details. And then add a description of the property. And when you filled all that out, you may click Add. As we can see, that property has been added to our list. You'll repeat this for each piece of tangible personal property that you would like to request the certificate for. When you have them all filled out, you may click Next to proceed. Next, we're asked to add some attachments as described on your screen. The required three are indicated by a red asterisk, and those are a copy of the Federal Form 706 and related schedules, a copy of the decedent's death certificate, and a copy of the federal income tax return and related schedules. You can add these by clicking the Add Attachment hyperlink, selecting the type of file that you are attaching, and then browsing for the file. Now that you've added that attachment, you will repeat that process by clicking Add Attachment and browsing for each file that you are going to attach. You do need at least one file of each required type in order to proceed. And as you've attached each file under each type, they will be checked off on the list for you. There are also some optional attachments that are considered helpful, including a copy of the decedent's will, and then an other supporting documents category. And yes, you can opt to add multiple in the other supporting documents category. So if you have multiple supporting documents, that option can be selected several times. When you have all attachments attached, you may click Next to proceed. Next is the tax calculation page. You're asked first if this is an amendment to a previously filed return. In our case, the answer is no. Next, you're asked to enter your federal taxable estate from your federal form. The next few fields you will fill out as applicable to you. There is some information linked in the field title as being shown on your screen. There is also a link to the Maine Revenue Services website should you need further information. And once you filled out that section, your Maine taxable estate is calculated for you. We'll also fill out the information to calculate our resident apportionment factor. And again, you'll fill this out as applicable to you and your situation. And that apportionment factor has been used to auto-calculate your net Maine estate tax. So we can see what the amount is. We are also able to enter any payments made if applicable, as well as interest and penalty amounts. We have nothing to enter in either of these fields, so we will click Next. Here we can see our amount due, which is our total Maine estate tax. And we're asked if we would like to make a payment at this time. We're going to say yes. And click Next to proceed. Here we are asked to enter our payment method, including the account type, checking or savings, our bank routing number, our account number, and our account number again to confirm. We are asked for the period for which we'd like to file. That should always be the same date as the date of death of the taxpayer, and the payment date, which will always default to today. The amount will default to the total, and we're asked to confirm that amount again. And we'll click Next to proceed. Here we are brought to a summary page. We'll look over the information and verify that it is correct. Since everything looks good, we will click Next to proceed. And now we're brought to the declaration page. We are asked to check the box that this form is correct and complete. We'll enter the name of the person filing this return. And their name again to confirm. And when we've filled that out, we'll click Submit. We are asked to enter our email address twice to confirm. And then click OK. This email address will be reiterated back to us on the next page along with our confirmation code. As always, Maine Revenue Services does encourage you to make note of this information for your record. You can also print that information by selecting the printable view and using your browser's print function. You are also given the option to print a voucher. If we had not made a payment in full, that would be a good option to mail in a paper check for the remaining balance. That does conclude our demonstration of how to submit a Form 706ME. Thank you all for watching.